Hello, fellow test takers. I'm Justin from Free-Clep-Prep, and today we're going to talk about the Information Systems CLEP. Now, I've taken and passed over 30 CLEP exams, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this one as I often see questions about it. So let's get into it. I first took this exam back in 2007. Now, even back then, it was a running joke in the CLEP community that the then named Information Systems and Applications CLEP had been written back in the 70s. There were plenty of references to things like microcomputers, tape storage, 2400 or even 300 baud modems. If you don't know what those are, you're not alone. Even in 2007, those technologies had pretty much fallen by the wayside and out of modern vernacular. Ironically, that made it even harder to pass the CLEP than it would have been because you had to learn about all this old technology even back then. Now, the good news is I took this test again last month and it's obviously been upgraded. Even better news is that I got a 70, which was much higher than my last one. While the exam probably isn't going to have anything you read about in the news right now, like today, the stuff that everybody was talking about, like I'd say 5 years ago, you're probably going to see stuff like that. So specifics. As always, we're going to abide by the College Board rules here. I'm not going to be sharing questions that were on the test. Sorry. Instead, I'll share those areas that I studied that got me the 70, and hopefully it'll work the same for you. Coincidentally, a lot of this was on the fact sheet for this exam, which is not always the case, but this one was pretty accurate. So starting off, software development, it's always a good topic to know for any of the IT exams, and studying it here will actually help you on those as well. Know the different development methodologies like Agile, Waterfall, know the strengths of each and how they work. You probably don't need to go too in-depth with the specific languages, but I would know the basics of object-oriented programming, such as conditionals and loops, being able to identify what those are and how to read them. I'll put some of those on here so you can look at them while we're talking. Database management is also another big one. Understand what it is, what the basics of databases are, and how the different types of databases, such as flat, relational, or non-relational, actually function. Knowing what queries are and how they work will also probably be useful. And I'll throw some more queries up here. Quick plug, you can find all this stuff at Free-Clep-Prep. We have free study guides and flashcards for everything we're talking about here. Add in our free practice tests and we'll get you there. If you're in a rush or want the extra security, we also have a quick prep bundle for this exam, or at least we should by the time you watch this. That's got even more tools, but our free resources are more than enough for most people. The bundles are just there for people that are in a rush. Moving on, e-commerce and the internet are other topics, which is hardly surprising considering how prevalent they are in today's world. I'd understand the basics of how websites work, such as what URLs or URIs are, what the preceding protocols mean, what ISPs are legally responsible for, and services they provide or don't, and how the communication between server and clients work. Speaking of server and client relations, networking is another hot topic. The old 2007 exam was heavy on this subject and went pretty deep into it. The updated exam didn't go quite as much focus onto it, but it's still present. You'd do well to spend some time studying the subject. Stuff like network architecture, ring, mesh, etc. Different parts of those networks like dumb terminals, nodes, switches, routers, Wi-Fi communications, Bluetooth, it goes on and on. I would spend some time on those areas. On the business side, I'd understand how organizations handle their IT needs. Who's responsible in leadership for charting out the IT strategy for an organization? Who's responsible for implementing it? What tools are available to help leadership make decisions, managing customer databases, chase leads, make sales? There are a lot of acronyms on this exam, which is hardly surprising considering this is IT we're talking about and we love acronyms. I would know the common acronyms for the tools, laws when it comes to the business side. And finally, as anybody who keeps up with the news knows, security is constantly making the headlines. I would know who is responsible for keeping the organization safe from malicious attackers, how networking tools such as firewalls, access points work. You probably don't need to know or go too deep in the woods when you understand how the various encryption systems work, but you should understand what they do. And on the other side, you probably need to be aware of how attackers work and the tools they use. You probably won't need to know any like specific virus names, but knowing what a virus is or malware, rootkits, social engineering, stuff like that probably help you out on the exam. All in all, the exam is manageable for most people. I think if you have an IT background, then you'll obviously have an advantage, but even those new to the industry will be able to pass this with some targeted study. That's pretty much it for this one. This video is part of a larger playlist of CLEP feedback videos. If you're interested in a CLEP and don't see it on our playlist, just drop me a comment below and let me know. I plan on making a feedback video for every CLEP exam out there as well as DSSTs, but I'm open to taking some tests before others if it'll help people out. I'll make one of these after every test I take. Speaking of helping out, throwing us a like and a subscribe will keep YouTube happy and help others find our videos. We'll see you on the next video, and remember, you can do this. We have faith in you. Take care.